Hey guys, back with another relationship video. Today we're going to be talking about rising signs and their corresponding 7th house sign and how important that is in astrology, particularly in relationships. And people often overlook this, and there are a few rising signs that you might think, whoa, those would be really good people to date, but you would be wrong. And there are other rising signs that you might normally sleep on and you might not think that they are kind of really good to date or marry. And I'm going to shock you today with this revelation. If you haven't watched my rising sign series, it is my favorite series that I've ever done. It is the most thorough of the series that I've done, and I highly recommend it. So the reason that the rising sign is so important when it comes to relationships is because that rising sign is going to tell you a lot about the person's outlook on life. It is kind of like when somebody says you have a good head on your shoulders, they're talking about your rising sign. Or if they think you don't have a good head on your shoulders, they're probably also talking about your rising sign, because it delineates the rest of the chart. Wherever your rising sign is, if you use whole sign houses, it makes things way simpler and it's the best house system to use for natal chart astrology. Debatable, but I really think that it is. And it tells you so much about a person. So whatever their rising sign is going to tell you where all of their planets are located. And most importantly, especially for this video and for relationships, it's going to tell you a lot about their 7th house. But keep in mind that the 7th house is only one component of relationships, because you still want to take a look at somebody's moon and somebody's Venus. And it's also very important to look at how compatible the person is with themselves in order to see how easily or how difficult it will be for the person to obtain whatever it is that they're looking for in the 7th house. So, okay, briefly, the rising sign is essentially how you cope with life, how you deal with reality. And it was imparted on you based on the environment in which you grew up in. And you received essentially a lot of messaging and programming that made you the person that you are, that put the head on your shoulders that you have today. You want to take a look at not just their moon and their Venus. Those are the most important things when it comes to relationship. The moon is so basic when it comes to relationships, because that is the way that we emotionally communicate with others. It is what we're receiving and emitting in terms of our emotions. And you really want the moon signs to be compatible. And if you don't have compatible moon signs, you want to take a look at the Venus, because the Venus can be kind of like a reinforcing element within there if the moons aren't really vibing very well. But as I said, always make sure that you get a complete picture of that moon in order to see if the compatibility is working or not. You don't want to just be like a basic astrology bitch and be like, oh, those moon signs, they're opposite. That means they're going to be bad. Take a look at the house, take a look at the aspects. And as I said, look at Venus for that reinforcement, because yes, the moon sign is that emotional vibe that you're like putting out there and receiving the way that you like to emotionally relate to others. The Venus is your sensual pleasures, the things that make you happy to be a human being, that make you happy to be alive. So you want to be hitting both of them, but I mean, you can have everything, girl. You cannot have everything. So at least choose one. Make sure that one of them is being greatly satisfied. And at the end of the day, I really feel like that moon sign is going to be more important than the Venus, but that's just me being a Venus Saturn. Don't let me project that onto you. Okay, so for the rising sign that is shockingly good at relationships, it's going to be Aries rising. And hear me out. So as I said, the rising sign is the armor that you're putting on every single day. It is what I always call, it's your spacesuit that you put on in order to survive. And so at the end of the day, Aries rising is going to want to take off that Aries rising armor. And in the 7th house, they actually have Libra. So they love to have very fair, balanced. Have you ever seen how hard an Aries rising person goes for their partner? That is the only area of life where this person knows how to compromise. Obviously, you want to take a look at planets in the 1st house, planets in the 7th house, because they will greatly modify the way that they will express this. But if the person doesn't have any great modifying energies, you really will be surprised to see how amazing a partner of rising Aries is. Because as I said, the 1st house is what you're doing on the day-to-day. Like, this is how you're interacting with people, with strangers. But once you're actually in a relationship, or when you're trying to relate to somebody else on a more personal level, that's going to be your 7th house. And when your 7th house is Libra, you're going to want to keep things calm, nice. You're going to be really polite, kind and sweet to your partner, and you're gonna really care about them. And you know, it's just a really, really wonderful rising sign to date. I've seen it over and over again. They are shockingly great partners. And I say shockingly because you've seen how Aries rising people interact in the world. They could be a little too spicy. They could be they fight over everything. Have you seen even women at the gym with Aries rising? You've seen them. They're fighting over the dumbbells when there's more dumbbells, ladies, but they will fight. But when they come home, it's that Libra 7th house. That Libra's going on in the 7th house. And in case you haven't guessed this already, the surprisingly not great rising sign for relationships is actually Libra rising, because Libra rising is every single day putting on the armor of being like a nice guy, being the guy that, you know, I'm not gonna get mad, I'm just gonna be diplomatic, I'm gonna just, you know, put my head down and be polite, and just, I'm gonna make sure everybody feels respected. At the end of the day, they wanna come home and they're not gonna take any of that bullshit anymore. They want their partner to pretty much do their own thing. They want a hot partner. They want things to be hot between them and their partner because it's Aries, it's very physical energy. They're attracted, I mean, they're also Libras, so they're attracted to attractive people, and the attraction needs to be there, right? When you're a Libra rising. But when it comes to relating and what it is that you want out of a relationship, you want Aries. You want the physical stuff, and pretty much like, we like each other, we're good, right? Because there's not gonna be a lot of bending. They want a lot of independence in their relationships because, as I said, on a day-to-day basis, they are pretty much, they're trying to yield to everybody else. They're trying to make sure everybody feels heard. So when it comes to the relationships, they're not gonna be doing that. They need a rest from that every single day. But as I said, if you're a Libra rising, do not be offended. Make sure that you look at the Venus, make sure you look at the moon and where it is and how that is modifying your 7th house. This is just basically talking about the 7th house. Okay, and these last ones are the rising signs that are not what you expect. So you would expect that a cold ass Capricorn rising is gonna come home and they're not gonna be cold to their partner. Cancer is the only place where you are going to emit your Cancer energy, where you're gonna be a little baby, you're gonna baby whoever it is that you're babying is gonna be in the Cancer house. If your Cancer house is the 7th house, so if you're a Capricorn rising, that is your partner. That is the only person who you're gonna care about on an emotional level. Capricorn risings are cold, we're cold people, but we care a lot about the well-being and the emotions and everything that has to do with our partner's sensitivity and their safety. And are you fed? Are you warm? Are you sick? All of that matters to us, just about our partner. Because to Capricorn risings, the world is a cold place, baby, and you need to take care of yourself, and everybody is responsible for themselves and their feelings. I don't care about nobody else's feelings but my partner's, right? So you would not expect that from a Capricorn rising because they seem so cold, but you know, try to date one. It's real different. It's real different, and you would not expect that. Same thing for a Taurus rising. My friend is married to a Taurus rising, and he seemed like they don't watch these videos, so he's German, right? So, you know, he's just like a straight-laced, like German boy, Taurus rising, and I was just like, oh, you got yourself a pseudo Scorpio. He's always looking over her shoulder to see who she's texting, and I'm just like, I see you, sir. I see you. You would not expect that from a Taurus rising. But yes, I know we like, oh, Tauruses are jealous. Yes, but they're very like calm. Like Taurus energy is calm, but they get a little spicy in the 7th house. They get a little spicy, and you would not expect that. So make sure you're paying attention to those rising signs to see what it is that they're going to bring to the table in relationships. Because as I said, these last two, they're very unexpected. Same goes for Virgo rising. Honestly, Virgo risings, you would think it's a freaking Virgo. It's a freaking Virgo, but the 7th house is in Pisces. So they like the romance, they like the dreaminess. They do also like their space because Pisces needs a little space from their partner. So make sure that you're paying attention to all of these things. I didn't go over all of the 7th house placements. I didn't go over planets. If you would like an entire series on the 7th house and the signs in the 7th house, make sure you drop a comment letting me know you would like an entire series on this. I just decided to pinpoint the ones that I was just like, this one, like people might not expect. This one's shockingly bad. This one's shockingly good. So that's why I brought you these. So that's the video for today, guys. I hope you liked it. If you did, make sure you give me a thumbs up. If you're still waiting for those videos that I said, I have already compiled the questions. I got a lot of really wonderful questions. I have been wasting a lot of time doing nonsense, but I'm gonna be cutting back on my nonsense so that I could actually, you know, be productive with my time. So guys, if you like the video, make sure you like the video. If you're not subscribed, subscribe to my channel. What's wrong with you? Don't be disrespectful. If you're watching these videos, subscribe, because there's gonna be a really great video in less than a week. There's gonna be a really great video posted for you, and you're gonna miss it. You're gonna miss it. Okay, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.